But no, Joan likes to.
Joan just pulls it right out.
Those Pesky Gnomes is effectively kind of take a little bit of pinochle, take a little bit of hearts, add bright colors to it, gnomes, and you are playing Those Pesky Garden Gnomes. It's a game of taking tricks, very much like Hearts, but with some random twists to it, which make it a little more... I don't know what's going on sometimes.
There was a pretty steep learning curve, given the fact that if you had played Hearts before, you kind of thought you knew where you were, and then all of a sudden, you didn't.
Those Pesky Garden Gnomes, I think, is a game that has the potential to appeal to people that are used to more traditional card games with a traditional deck of cards. And you want to kind of lure them into something that's a little bit different, but not totally different. And so it's a good gateway game, a good bridge game from a typical game into some of the more unusual board games that a lot of people like us.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Something new. But I kind of liked that it had the connection to something familiar like Hearts. It was kind of fun because then you could see the permutations and it gave us something to talk about. Oh, so no, I was right. So you don't have the trump going through all the games. That's what I thought. No. It was the trump went through all the games. And I'm saying, wow, that gives humongous power.
No.
We got confused at the beginning because it was using the word trump.
Yeah.
And it sounded like it went, to me, well, we had
You're
a disagreement.
fired. No,
whether it was, it went through the entire game, all the hands you played, and which seemed to me like a real unfair or unbalanced thing, for somebody to say yellow cards are going to be trump, and then that was going to be that through all the games. Right. But it really wasn't. It was just through the hand.
I think more examples in the rules would certainly kind of help to illustrate some of the stuff, because like we said earlier, there is a bit of a learning curve with this game, which all games have. But you look at Pesky Garden Gnomes and say, oh, this should be easy. And you kind of read it and you go, oh, this is just like Hearts. And then you start playing it and then you're like, oh, wait a second, it isn't. Well, how did this just happen? I need more examples. Help me. But once you conquer all that, I think you'll be fine.
A few cards have plus and minus numbers on them.
Which are the points that you're trying to get or not.
Yeah, and they're not the same as the trump value number of the card. And because they're really small, you don't see them. And also the placement, the comment was made, the placement of that number is covered up when you're holding the cards in your hands. So you're not aware that you're holding a +5 or a -15.
And red on red doesn't really work. Those dots should have been black or purple or something that is really going to distinguish it from some of the other colors.
We all had kind of trouble with seeing the difference between the suits at first. So what we learned to do is look just at the number on the card and try to cut out the rest of the graphics, because like the red cards had yellow, green, and blue on them, and the same for the others.
Right.
So it was a little visually confusing.
Joan took my drink.
Did you want it?
Yes.
Why?
Oh, I see.
The best moment in the game was when I blurted out that, oh, I needed those. And then everyone's like, oh, we know what he needs. And I went, oh, probably don't need to do that in this game.
Not a good poker face.
You got to have a good pesky gnome face, which I don't know.
I'm a pesky gnome. Oh.
We all sucked.
Well, this game, it was definitely I think we're all going to score 10 points. Well, I think I did okay the first two ones. I had like 4 and 3. But then Joan, she got 4 on her last one. It was definitely a case that I think if we played it another round, we would get a little bit better, and a round after that, you get a little bit better. But that's the case with any game. Would I play this game again?
When it ended. I was sorry when it ended. I kind of wanted to go on because I was feeling like I was starting to get more done.
But yes, definitely play this again. It's a good game to do with really all potential age brackets in terms of with kids and with grandma and grandpa. I think they would all get it once they got past these pesky gnome pictures and their leering faces.
Go Gnomes!